What's up, UTU Trust Guardians, and welcome to the 2021 edition of the UTU Update. I'm Mike, your Chief Commercial Officer. I'm here with our CEO, Jason. What's up, Jason? And CTO, Bastian. What's going on, Bastian? And as usual, we are going to talk about everything that's happened at UTU in the last month. Before we jump in, guys, how are we feeling? How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. We've been heads down, building product, partnerships, traction. What else does one do in a tough market? So feeling good, building, and closing the Ocean Protocol partnership was a huge boost for the whole team, and we're super excited to deploy with them and where that will take us. So yeah, feeling great.
Of course, we'll talk more about that. Bastian, how you been?
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Great. Okay, yesterday Germany lost to England in the World Cup, so in the European Cup, so that's a bummer. But I'm also very excited about this Ocean Protocol integration. I mean, I'm a total fan of Ocean. I think what they are doing is great, and this kind of marketplace is exactly the sort of thing that we built UTU for. It's peer-to-peer, it's decentralized, it's everything that you could want on that side, and UTU will just fit in extremely well there.
All right, well, I was going to do a nice segue into the talking about the ocean, but you guys already took care of it for me. So, of course, we announced the big partnership with Ocean. Jason, wanted to start digging into what we're going to, how we're going to work with them.
Yeah, so we're going to launch our trust infrastructure for their data marketplace, Ocean Market, which is super, super cool. So our AI engine will ingest the activity of data providers, data consumers, data sets, and other entities to build comprehensive profiles. Ocean users will be able to rate and review each of these entities, and all of this data will be dynamically analyzed to create trust signals for each entity and personalized for each consumer of those signals. This is going to lead to increased trust and transparency in the Ocean marketplace, and generally reduce friction in transactions, help users more easily discover really great data sets and really great trusted data providers to either use for data analysis or staking to avoid rug pulls, other malicious activity. The number of value propositions and benefits this is going to bring is so many. Just a really cool demonstration of the power of UTU, and with a major globally respected project that we also really admire. So we can't wait to show you guys some results.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, for that high-level overview for the partnership. But the great thing about this partnership is there's very specific components that we'll build, and milestones to hit. So Bastian, can you talk more in detail about what we're going to build together with Ocean?
Yes, sure. So our components that we're going to build will support Ocean as it is running both on Ethereum mainnet and Polygon right now. And there will actually be a couple of different components. So first of all, we are going to build Ocean or recommendations for Ocean data assets and accounts into our own standalone web app. And that will actually be a new incarnation of the DeFi portal. And then on the next step, we will integrate widgets directly into Ocean Market that will show UTU's recommendations and feedback right there. So basically, UTU's trust engine will act as a curation engine of sorts in the Ocean Market, and show you the most relevant assets, data assets, and accounts to Ocean users. And finally, we will port it all to make it compatible with Ocean version 4 when that is released. The plan is, I think, still later last year. But so that will all come in the course of this year.
Yeah, it's really, this is really just going to accelerate our product development hugely. And this work is going to be funded by Ocean Protocol Foundation, which is amazing. The Ocean team are both visionary and just honestly, they're super practical in how they're building their ecosystem. We're really loving the partnership and working with them so far.
Yeah, and like you said, it's really going to accelerate what we need to build. And we talked, we've partnered with Matic Polygon in the past, so this is just going to move that along as well. Our plans to launch on Polygon, and like you said, Jason, Ocean has just been a pleasure to work with. and really they pushed us to really plan out everything, and that's gonna be super helpful when we execute that. So we will post links to the partnership announcement as well as the video interview that I did with Ocean team member Manan Patel in your video notes below. All right, now let's get to the product updates, which we usually do first. But Bastian, jump into the product updates and where we're at.
Yeah, sure. So we are about to release a new SDK version with several enhancements, including the video reviews and design improvements. And these are just about to be published. Yeah, goal was this month, so it's getting a bit tight, but yeah, about to be published. Then on the UTU protocol and UTU Trust token side, we made some significant progress and yeah, connecting the oracles to the UTU Trust API. Yeah, there are some developments there that yeah, mean some changes, but we're going to talk more about that in our upcoming roadmap changes. We did also progress on the creditworthiness API, so or the fintech API more generally of UTU, where we extended the M-Pesa API to also include payable and buy goods statements, which is basically business support instead of just personal statements. And if you know anything about mobile money in Kenya or across Africa, then you'll know that this is quite huge news. Finally, we extended our capabilities to bulk upload data for both creditworthiness and also M-Pesa. And that is quite critical for our pilot clients, for them to be able to quickly upload pre-existing data. So that's that for now.
Yeah, maybe I can just add, I think what's really interesting as the product develops is how many different use cases, different sectors, different partners are excited about UTU and the product that they can build and deliver, the value propositions that they can deliver via UTU. And all of that product feedback has been really coming in a lot faster and better since we launched the core API. And now with the creditworthiness API coming, launch coming soon, I think this feedback loop will get even stronger and tighter on that side. And we can't wait to start showcasing some of the integration results over the next quarter. But generally speaking, yeah, really great progress on core product, on the APIs, SDKs, on protocol, getting towards testnet, which I know everybody's excited for, and getting towards the launch of the creditworthiness API, which is imminent.
Yep, very, very soon that's coming out. And yeah, we're, I think we've got a lot of interest for our products. The engineering product teams are cranking. We're in a really good spot. So, like Bash and Jason said, we've done a lot of work on our API products, put a lot of work into the planning and scoping for Ocean and with those specific milestones. And there's going to be a bunch of changes to our roadmap, and we will be publishing those updates very soon. So stay tuned for more details about that. Up next are some updates that over the last month about UTU coins specifically. Jason, why don't you talk about these?
Yeah, sure. So first, we migrated our Uniswap UTU ETH liquidity pool over to Uniswap V3. If you're a liquidity provider on the V2 pool, we really highly recommend you move your liquidity over to the V3 pool. Next, the UTU coin on Binance Smart Chain to Ethereum direction for the Meter Passport bridge is now working, thanks to great efforts by both teams. Upon the initial launch of the bridge, we ran into some issues with the minter burner functions in the contract. Those issues have been fixed now, and you can port your UTU between Ethereum and BSC in both directions at your leisure. So great work on that.
Yeah, port away. Yeah, so we will include links to blog posts with more information about both of those developments in the video notes below. Speaking of video, we ramped up our Trust Guardian interview series this month. We did 3 interviews this month. I mentioned before we spoke with Manan Patel. He's a growth accelerator from Ocean Protocol. We talked about the partnership and everything we're going to do together. We also chatted with more of our partners, including Tudor Stomp, of the CEO of Hive. and Xiaohan Xu, the CEO of Meter, who we talked about with the Meter Passport. So I'll include links to these interviews in the notes below as well.
Sometimes I'm jealous of you get to do all those interviews, and I'm wishing I could sit in. I'm like itching for when they come out on YouTube so I can watch them.
Hey, we could bring you in if you got some questions to ask. Happy to bring you into those at any time, Jason. So, all right, last but not least, what we always do are community questions. So before recording this update, we ask you, the community, to submit your questions so we can answer them on this video. Really interesting questions this time around. So we got a bunch of questions about—
Not about my hair.
Not about your hair, thank God. But we got questions about our vision and a lot of questions about our team. So let's see what we can get to. So first one comes from Mr. Akel on Twitter, and he asked, what is the long-term vision, about 5 years, for UTU? What does the UTU team want to see in this time frame? Jason, you're our resident visionary. Why don't you take this one?
Yeah, this is an easy one. Our vision, UTU's vision, has always been to make the internet a safer, more trusted place to gather, to share, to work, to trade, to do whatever you do online. Our mission is to be the trust infrastructure of the entire internet, right? The entire internet, and to help people, businesses, consumers engage in a more trustworthy, safer way. It's pretty straightforward, and it's kind of unchanged since our founding and will remain unchanged.
Bastian, anything to add in terms of vision?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty clear view of the grand vision that Jason just gave. Maybe more from a user perspective, we really want to give power back to the people, support people in how they want to make their decisions and transact. And yeah, of course, decentralization plays a great role in that. But we also are very excited where the learnings from our AI and data will bring us there. So figure out all the issues around learning the right things and giving people the power about their data, and still be able to learn stuff so that we can make good recommendations. So yeah, that's a bit challenging technical stuff that's to be figured out there, and I'm really looking forward where we will end up with all that, because I think we have some really great approaches coming up.
Yeah, the more I work on this stuff every day. I have a lot of conversations with people about UTU every day, and they just every now and then I just have to like step back and just think about how huge our vision is, and how many just like different ways that we can impact different industries, and how it improves it'll improve things for businesses and users. And to your point, Bastian, like this is a huge problem, it's a huge vision. It's not going to be easy technically, right? Like we're trying to build something massive here, and we're taking I think we're well on our way. But yeah, every time I just kind of have to like say, wow, this is by far the biggest thing that I've worked on, and it's when we get there, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, this is Bastian and I's life's work, and I think it's becoming maybe your life's work, which is really fun. But it is a huge vision, and despite the fact that we're working on this in quite a long time now, what still amazes me is that people still come to us with new use cases that I never thought about. And that's super cool. That's a really fun experience all the time. It keeps me motivated, keeps us excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Next community question is from UTU Maxi. So we're all UTU Maxis here. You got to be more specific. No, just kidding. I know it's your name. We love it. So happy to have you as a UTU Maxi. So the question is, when Jason talked about going to raise money for UTU's initial round, he shared how beneficial the IDO approach was versus a typical VC route. Part of that was the lack of faith, history, belief in a tech startup in Nairobi actually getting a fair valuation from the market. Now, given the market cap history etc. Does the team share or have an underdog type mentality? And any insight to add to that? What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, this is a really great question. Actually, I think about this a lot. This idea of an underdog mentality. I actually think every startup should have something of an underdog mentality, but not maybe in the sense that you might think, not in the sense that you see your smallness or your atypical background or your HQ location in a small country or any other like underdog qualities as weaknesses, but as actually windows into your strengths, right? You're only an underdog if you stand toe to toe with the giants that you're trying to fight, and you fight them on their terms and on their territory. But if instead you recognize that your smallness actually makes you agile, and your atypical background gives you different insights and freedom from legacy solutions, and you can pursue maybe a first principle solution that your home in Kenya or anywhere else that's not Silicon Valley makes you more resilient and just gives you a different perspective. You start to realize that maybe in the story of David and Goliath, actually David always had the edge over Goliath. And so there's value to that underdog mentality only in thinking about what are my strengths over my weaknesses, not that I'm up against insurmountable odds. Yeah, I guess that's how I think about it.
Yeah. Bastian, any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I just agree to all of that. And I also have to say that, I mean, from a personal perspective, it's been a bit tough at times, because definitely there were those moments when it wasn't totally obvious that it's all going ahead. But we overcame those. And yeah, as Jason said, those make you more resilient and stronger in the end, and give you some great experiences as well. And also, you know, sometimes the next step or the next thing to do, or the next even help is in a direction that you just didn't consider, and you're just being forced sometimes to do this step, whatever, and then it turns out that that was actually the thing that needed to be done at the time. And yeah, so I mean, in hindsight, everything looks different, of course, and dots can be connected, but yeah, it's just sometimes a bit daunting when you're in it. But yeah, as long as we are as convinced and as motivated as we are of our goals and solutions, and I mean, we really believe in it, and that means we are just going to push through all this stuff and come out much wiser and with a working thing the other side.
Yeah, I agree with everything, you know, both of you guys said. And you look, there are, like Jason said, there are just a lot of advantages to being small, and also advantages to, you know, being based in Kenya, right? Like there's things, there's knowledge that that we have about the specifics of that market that other larger companies may not, one, want to address, or two, understand, so they're able to address that, right? So you know, just the way things are done on the African continent, and the agility that we have, like Bastian said, to be able to really to push through things and see them through more quickly than some of the larger companies. And you know, personally, on a personal level, like I've been running my own startups or working for startups for almost a decade now. And yeah, I absolutely have a chip on my shoulder. There's a lot of like paranoia, actually. I'm not sure how healthy it is, but like, you know, when I'm in a running my own company, or in, you know, in this position that I'm at, I just kind of think that I'm like never doing enough. I like stress out, you know, I kind of lose sleep. Like you can see the top of my head, I'm losing a little bit of hair. You know, you might think it's not really healthy, but like I've found if I don't have that kind of stress in my job, I tend to get bored, and then I don't enjoy what I do. So I think is definitely a healthy level of stress that I have, healthy level of paranoia I have, but it really pushes me with that that underdog mentality. So yeah, I think we're on the path. We're on a great path. We're, like you said, you know, the vision's there. We're executing on it, and I'm super excited, and I'm okay stressing out over this kind of stuff. So anyway, great stuff, guys. Jason, Bastian, any parting words before we sign off?
Yeah, maybe just coming back to this last point, I really think the world's going to be forced to start evaluating what kind of companies they expect to come from where more seriously, and recognizing that a lot of the biggest and most exciting innovations in the next 10 years are going to not come from the same places they've come in the last 10, 15 years. And people are waking up to that. And people ask us why we're not in Silicon Valley. And I always say that we were born out of the unique environment of Kenya and some things that we noticed here, and which next innovation or understanding about the nature of trust are we going to miss when we leave here and go somewhere like that, some high trust environment. And generally speaking, again, I think just really need to reconsider which places have insights into which things and comparative advantage. And I would argue that coming from Kenya here, we're very well positioned to build something focused on the future of digital trust.
Absolutely. Bastian, last words?
Yeah, nothing really to add to that. We just rock on in that way.
Yeah.
Rock on.
All right, UTU Trust Guardians, that's all we have for you. Hope you enjoyed this edition of the UTU update, where we got a little bit deep on the psyche today. But it was awesome. We went over the ocean announcement, all the updates on the coin and everything. So yeah, and stay tuned for that roadmap update, which should be coming very soon, and more info about our upcoming product launches, new partnerships, and more. Please hit the like, subscribe, and notification buttons to make sure you don't miss any future videos. Thanks so much, UTU Trust Guardians. Have a good one and see you soon. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.